So, while all of this has been happening, I've been working on the side on certain things that I haven't shown you guys. And I felt, okay, now's the perfect time to show you, now that the guy is getting better, and now that that travel series is done. Mabuhay Squad, check out these projects that I've been working on. Check it out.
Hey guys, welcome to my daily vlogs. Please subscribe.
Okay, first off the list of projects I've been working on, let's start with the most boring. This one here is my invention because, as you know, our air conditioner is leaking. Usually we get a repairman to come in, but RJ and I are still paranoid. We don't want anyone coming in here. So this was what I did. At first, it was just a plastic bag and it had a tube that ran all the way to the bathroom so that it could like drip down the drain there. And I discovered that it wasn't actually dripping. Like nothing was going through the tube. My only conclusion then is that this bag somehow stops it from dripping. Don't know how that works, but we're keeping that there. Even though it looks like, I don't know, like Missy Elliott's costume in her music video, The Ring. You know what I mean? And there's a little bit of condensation that happens, so we catch it with this Ayustabo, Ayustabo, Ayustabo.
Ayustabo, Ayustabo, Ayustabo.
Improvisation, you know what I'm saying? So other projects are this new nano tank. Yes. So this small nano tank used to house my carnivorous plants, but I hibernated them because you're supposed to hibernate that species of plant. But I think I did it wrong because the plants never came back to life after hibernation period. So I decided, okay, I'll scrap the carnivorous nano tank and turn it into an aquatic nano tank. And I really love the way it turned out. There's right now a mosquito raspora, and I have to get him 2 more friends. I actually took this one from the Selva de Fuego, my fire ant terrarium paludarium from upstairs. And this one was, like, they all died eventually of old age. I think this one's about a year old or more. I have to get him some friends, maybe 2 more, so that he won't feel lonely. Once all of this quarantine's done, gonna buy some friends. There are also some shrimp in here that, see, if you look back there, there are shrimp way back there. Oh, there's one just grazing off this beautiful Java moss here. The shrimp are different colors. They're red. This one is a tiger red shrimp. See, I just love the shadows that this light casts on the entire like thing. Oh, there's another shrimp. There's Sagittaria grass right there growing from the soil and sand, and I love that rock. See the shadows the rock cast? And because the filter is causing kind of like a ripple, I love the ripple effect it causes on the floor. It's just really, really nice. It's supposed to be like a river system, like a river environment habitat. And then, guys, check out Jabba the Hutt. New habitat. I've completely pimped it out. For those of you who are new, of course, Jabba the Hutt is my Suriname horned frog. And just once a day, a fog comes here from our fogger. And this here is his new Cerium. Now check this out, guys. It's really, really cool. So this is just full of moss. The living back wall, still moss. And these living philodendrons, these plants, still growing. Now I've added this beautiful piece of wood, and then I've propagated moss on here. There's some Java moss there growing. See Java moss. Here you'll see Holland moss that came from the carnivorous plant tank, and it's growing up there as well. See Java moss. Beautiful moss. I love moss. I've got some plants that I've taken from my balcony that were growing literally off my building wall. There's another right there. See, it's just growing epiphytically off this like wood. There's some Java fern from one of my fish tanks growing. See, see? And one of the cool things about this is you'll see it's dripping. And why it's dripping is because I actually have a tube which runs all the way back down to the bottom and is fed by this pool here. See that? So when Jabba wants to have a swim, he just swims in this little pool here. And then that water pump just pumps the water to the top of the driftwood and it cascades down so nicely. And while it does, it feeds all of these moss, hydrates the moss. So all of this is land back here, land. And there's Jabba hiding at the back, nice and comfortable in his new environment. So yeah, this is another project I've been working on. I've been wanting to pimp Jabba the Hutt's paludarium and it's doing really well. Oh yeah, wait, another thing I want to show you. See this moss here? That moss was taken from Tagaytay. It's like native Philippine moss. At Christmas, I saw tons of it growing on trees and I decided to get it, and see, it grows wonderfully off wood if humidity is good. There you go, the mossarium of Jabba the Hutt. I also forgot to mention that this entire back wall here also has water dripping from a small hole way down there. So that back wall stays hydrated and keeps all that moss and the plants alive. It feeds all of these plants which are growing off the wall. See, water's actually dripping down that wall by way of a little tiny tube that's installed hidden at the back of the wall. The hole is somewhere there. Now some of you guys might be asking, why is the water brown or brownish yellow? And the reason for that is because this water is what they call black water. Black water is really healthy for fish and for other aquatic life because it contains all kinds of beneficial nutrients and tannins and that sort of thing. And where does it come from? It comes from the decaying wood that this water is cascading from, and from decaying leaves, and as well from peat moss. The tannins and the nutrients are leaching from those materials and entering the water. And it's really good for Jabba the Hutt's skin whenever he does decide to take a swim, to take a dip. So it's really good for him. It's essentially like a natural tea, you know what I mean? From like botanicals in the environment. And Jabba just ate a frog pellet. Yay! Another thing too I've done is I've moved the old lights back to this tank, because remember when I switched to a brighter light from my fire ant tank back when I decided to like put all sorts of plants? Well, it caused a mad algae outbreak like across the floor and on some of the plants. So I've reduced the lighting back to normal, and I actually realized I like this lighting better. It looks a lot more beautiful and so is less likely to cause another algae outbreak. So here guys, check this out. My mossarium of Jabba the Hutt inspired me to do another similar setup using an old aquarium that was part of another ant colony that I had to let go. All you ANTSCANADA watchers know this used to belong to the Titans, but I've decided to use the tank, repurpose it into this mossarium. There's nothing in here, just plants for now, and it works on the same concept. There's a pump way at the back which runs all the way up to the top there, and then see, I've punched holes in the piping and it cascades down this back wall, which is made of cocoa fiber, and I've siliconed the cocoa fiber to the back wall, and my hope is that it becomes a living wall, so plants will climb up it and cover the fibers, and as well as more moss. I plan on putting more moss to grow on this wall. It takes time. This wood also has a pipe, see, which causes water to cascade down the surface, and I've cut pieces of moss all the way down. You'll see little pieces of moss that I've attached to the wood, and my hope is that this entire wood will be full of moss in maybe a few months. Again, there's that awesome local moss from Tagaytay, which grows so well on wood, and then more of those plants from the wall of my building. It's in the works. I've also got some coconut shells, you see, that are kind of gathering some water as it drips down. Makes a nice floor cover. And then this, we've got some an aquatic area here. I'm not sure, I might add some shrimp in there. We'll see. I'll let it all cycle first. And twice a day, this irrigation will go off to hydrate all areas of the terrarium. I just want it to like flourish with moss. Maybe one day it can be home to a tree frog. frog or I don't know, some other semi-aquatic animal. Of course, we've got my roach farm. See all those roaches huddled in there? They're doing well, having lots of babies, thank goodness. Now, a lot of these passion projects were completed throughout the past week or so. And I found that partially I did them because it was my way of dealing with the stress. This past week, this health scare of Ligaya and that whole fiasco, caused so much stress. So like my escape was to, you know, do these terrariums and like try to keep my mind in balance and off the fear and all of that. So that's one reason why I did these projects. And also another reason is because, as you guys know, the ANTSCANADA channel has all my ant and some spider and some of my various creatures, all of their lives are on camera. But see, here's the thing, when you're a YouTuber and you're creating content using your passion as the medium, it's very easy for your passion work to drift off into the space of work. Like every week you have an uploading schedule or whatever your uploading schedule is. You got to come up with content by this day, and there's a lot of pressure there, right? And I found that it's easy for what used to be a passion project to become like work. So like this tank and that tank and the one upstairs, I didn't have to video it for ANTSCANADA. There was not that pressure there, like, oh, I gotta fix this lighting, I gotta get this shot while I'm putting this moss onto this wood, and you know what I mean? Like I didn't have to think about storylines or anything like that. It was just for passion, you know what I mean? Because the keeping of these, you know, creatures and terrarium scaping and all of that, I want to keep these as passion hobbies first and foremost. And then when that passion is there, then it will help the content later. So I found that it's really important to make sure your hobby stays a hobby and not have YouTube turn it into work, compulsory work. And so my way of keeping it in that healthy space is by not having to like feature my projects in every ANTSCANADA video, you know what I mean? So it was just for the heart. Do you guys relate to this? Do any of you guys have a career or a business like revolves around something that started off as a passion? How do you guys keep it as a passion and like not have the work aspect take over that until the passion is like all gone? How do you guys do that? And I've been there in that space, particularly for the ANTSCANADA channel, where I felt like I was just creating terrariums and like, you know, filming the ants because I had to and not as much because, oh, this is such a cool thing to do. And guys, it leads to burnout when your videos become less about the passion and more about the compulsory. OMG guys, look, from Mesa. Filipino food, delicious. Guys, look at the packaging of this stuff. Like it has here who it's prepared by, Chef Mike, what location, and what time to eat it by. Do not accept if seal is broken. So you know it's not been opened. Cleanliness is the key these days for this delivery, you know, these delivery orders when you eat out. I can't wait to eat. Oh my gosh guys. Bicol Express, baby squid, sisig, and barbecue platter. Hey, what a blessing this is. Tinapa rice. OMG, what to eat first? Sisig, yes, the essential first. I haven't eaten sisig in so long. You guys know sisig? It's a Filipino dish. Chopped up pig face. Doesn't sound appetizing, but trust me, it is so good, especially with beer. Oh my gosh, yes. Next, let's try the baby squid. Oh my gosh, there's so much garlic. Baby squid. Soft and squiddish. Okay, next, guys, Bicol Express. It's spicy pork cooked in coconut cream or milk. Yeah. And there's like, what vegetable is that? Beans, and it's spicy apparently. Not spicy. It's mildly sweet, that coconut with the pork. Look at this. Is this chicken? This is the grilled platter now. And like some old-fashioned grilled chicken. Okay guys, it's time for our positive affirmation of the day for Wednesday, May the 6th. I focus on positive thoughts because the thoughts I think and the words I speak create my experiences. There you go. That's like classic law of attraction right there. Focusing on positive thoughts because your thoughts and words create your experiences. Ligaya, you're looking great. Guys, her recovery is very promising. She's gained a bit more weight. I can feel it when I pet her neck. And And her eyes, see, looking a lot better. Her eyes are a little bit sunken in her head, but definitely not as bad as when she first got here after her procedure. Yes, and you're grooming. Okay guys, and it's Wednesday, which means Whiteboard Wednesday. Thank you guys for praying for Ligaya. Your prayers have helped. And now, this week we've chosen one of your Whiteboard Wednesday entries, and it was this. There are no mistakes, only happy accidents. There you go. And this was from one of you Mabuhay squad named Matcha Village. Thank you so much, Matcha Village. There's the Whiteboard Wednesday. Alright guys, so for the past 3 days we've been eating takeout, delivery. I mean, after 2 months of quarantine, the delivery was a nice change. But now it's back to fresh home-cooked meals by Mr. RJ Garcia. Bae, what are you cooking today? Let's see.